Hey, what's up? I thought I'd drop by. Had a little something on my mind as I was taking a ride, out from home. And I started thinking about lately everybody's been talking about narcissism and narcissists. And I've had my share of experiences. So I felt like, whoever I can touch, I wanted to take just a moment or two to talk about it. So when you speak about, a lot of people like to use the word narcissist nowadays. I don't like to use, I like to use it, but I don't like to call people clinically a narcissist because they don't, you have to clinically be diagnosed as a narcissist, just like any other class B um, type personality. But I do, however, say that people have narcissistic tendencies. And I don't hide anything. There's been a time in my life when I have to look back and I have to accept that I've had my own. But through the grace of God, I've come out of that a much better person. I embrace my empathetic side. I had a little bit of both because I had a little bit of both throughout my family. So me personally, I decided to always just kind of stay low key, stay the mediator. I wanted to be the peaceful one. So I always leaned a little more to empathy. I felt people, I felt situations and emotions way more than a lot of other people did. You know, it just, a lot of things meant something to me, and I got laughed at when I cried or when I said I felt a certain way because they didn't understand it. But it was just a different gift that God blessed me with. So I needed to be okay with that. And I am okay with it. So, narcissist. Um, when you want to talk about a narcissist, first thing you have to remember, narcissists don't love. Any idea of love that they have is not really love, it's supply. It's a transaction. All right, hi guys, I'm sorry I'm back. I know you can't tell, but, well, you can't tell now from the difference in the scenery, but I had a little situation I had to take care of, but I'm back now. So we were talking about narcissists and narcissists feeling that, or any love that they give, it's never really love. Like I said, it's really just supply. It's a transaction with them. I've spent a lot of time trying to understand what happens and what makes them do the things that they do. And I've come to the conclusion that it's a trade. It's a trade in them. How people can just sense that you are the type of person that they can literally just take your energy from, because that energy that you have, that light that you have, they don't have that. And to be honest with you, they don't really want that. They want it, but they want it through someone else. They don't want to do their work to get it. So whatever they can get, they're easy to take from you. That's why you find that a lot of relationships may last a long time with a narcissist, but that's only if you have really, really weak-minded people, and those people never really push back against the narc. But once you do start pushing back against them, if you do and you start wondering, hey, I'm doing all this for you and I'm giving you all this and I'm respecting you in all these types of ways, like, what are you actually gonna do for me, or what can you do for me? And it's so funny because that's when they decide to kind of change their tune. Then that's when it's important for them to let you know that you need to be happy and glad that they're in your life and that they want to be with you, and they start gaslighting you and turning things around, and that's just a front so that they don't have to do anything more. So, that's honestly when they're going to start beginning to look for other people to not only take your place, but they're going to look for someone who doesn't. I'm so sorry about that. They're going to look for someone um, who doesn't have the need or the want to question them about what they want. And it's really a control thing. It's really all about control. They want that control. They want to keep that control. They will love bomb you to death. They will tell you all the things that they think you want to hear, but it's all an illusion. Once they start telling you those things, once they start feeding you with those things, it's 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 it gets to a point where they just want you where they want you. And it's weird. Like, I can't even explain it, honestly. I mean, I can explain it, but it's not so easy to explain, because these people, they never cease to amaze me. They never cease to amaze me. Like I said, I did have some traits myself, but I've always been a chosen child. And once I realized later on in years, truly what was going on with me and where my spirit and my soul lies, as far as being a good person and growing and evolving into my purpose and who I was supposed to be, until I accepted and understood that I was chosen, nothing shook until I chose him. And so, in me understanding being chosen and then choosing him, everything started coming to light. And I started understanding, doing the inner work, understanding. I started understanding why everything was happening the way that it was. My personal worst experience with I'm not even going to say I consider it. My personal worst experience was with the Jezebel spirit, whereas she sensed and she researched me from one of our mutual friends, but she sensed that there were things going on in my life that I needed to break free from. And what's so funny is, at the time, I wasn't really able to deal with her, because I was in a certain position at work, and she was in a certain position at work, and I'm not losing my job for anything anything romantic or sexual or anything like that, to be honest. As a matter of fact, I didn't even notice her. Never even really paid her any attention. Never really had to help her. So, and she stayed low key. So, I never even really noticed she was there. And what happened is that one day I was really sick, and I was really feeling down, and I was in my bed at home, and I had called out of work. And this was because someone else who has tendencies, I still loved them so much, and I was broken from that. And I wanted to just not do anything. I didn't want to eat, didn't want to sleep, didn't want to work. I was really depressed. But, my friend from work contacted me, and she asked me, and she said, hey, are you okay? You coming to work tomorrow? I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll be there. And then the female called. And when the NARC called, it was so weird because, she said some things, and she said, I was just checking on you, and I just wanted to make sure that you were coming in to work tomorrow. Are you okay? And I said, I will be. Thanks for checking on me. Yeah, I'll be at work tomorrow. And when I hung up the phone, I really just thought about it in my head, and I said, I've never talked to her before. Why in the world would she be calling me, much less calling me, asking me, am I coming to work? Concerned, so concerned. Not that no one should be concerned about anyone, but this is weird, You know when things just aren't right. So at any rate, I went ahead on, and I said to myself, I said, no, she can't like me. Nah. I'll lay back down. And that was that for the day. When I got to work the next day, I saw her. And I walked up to her and I said, thanks for reaching out to me. I appreciate that. And she always comes to work, like really, really dressed up and really, really made up. And she was knelt down at her locker putting things away. And I said, it's amazing to me how you say you work all night and then you come here and you work all day and you still come in looking fresh. You look really nice when you come in. Like it's amazing. And she smiled and she said, well, thank you. I appreciate that. And she said a couple more things I don't remember now, but that's neither here nor there. But from there, all the love bombing began. It was wide open. It was her coming out to my car when I was having heated conversations with the other ex that I was still in love with. And she would just come out and just, place her hand on my chest and say, I hate the way that she treats you. I could treat you so much better. I can love you so much better. And just stand there with her hand on my chest and her head, kind of on me. As I think about it now, it's a little bit funny because it's so crazy. I mean, it felt good, but it was crazy. And then, after that, I began to get some pictures. She walked to my desk one day, and sorry guys, give me 1 second. If you guys can't tell already, I'm having some technical difficulties in here. So, at any rate, I'm going to try and get this finished. She walked to my desk. She told me, I sent you something. And what she sent me pretty much was a bunch of pictures. Very personal pictures. So, of course, that got my mind going. And just to make a long story short, the love bombing was really, really, really intricate, and it was really sexual minded. And this is why I ascertain that, I add that in or include that with the Jezebel spirit, because I was in need of love, and I'm a very sexual person, and she knew it. She sensed it. She sensed just the way to get at me. And for that much, she did indeed win the battle. She did. We got together. I started going against people, and it was just, she had me thinking that it was me and her against the world. Yet, I was being singled off or sectioned off from her people, But all of my people were knowing all of my business, which is something I don't usually do. But she put it all out there, and it just became a great big mess, a big mess of everybody knowing our business and what was going on. So, of course, later on down the line, once I began to see the light and understand that, what are you doing for me? I'm doing a lot for you, and I'm giving a lot for you, and you're talking about marriage and all of this stuff, but you're not really doing things to show me that you're really trying to marry me. You're not showing me that you're trying to move forward. You are in a situation where you live at home with your mother and your brother, and they you take care of them, and you're telling me that you're gonna leave them, like, just out of the blue with your autistic kid, and move in with me, and your child doesn't know me. And I didn't feel comfortable with that, because I feel like your child should know me, so it was just a lot of things that just started to click in my mind after a while, that it just didn't make sense. It didn't add up. In the beginning, I didn't really think about it too much, I guess, because the other love that I had, I just wanted to do something, anything to take that away. I didn't want to stay depressed. I wanted to spend my time doing something else. So I have to blame myself a little bit, because I saw some of the flags. I never knew that it was going to be what it was. I never knew it was going to be that deep, that serious. Long story short, at the end of the day, after the love bombing, and then it all turned around, and we started doing the gaslighting, and she started searching for a new supply, which, I didn't know at the time she was doing that. But she started searching for new supply, and by the time that I realized all of that, it was pretty much too late. She had her new supply, and man, let me tell you, there was no ghosting, but I got severely, like a rude awakening. I got severely awakened. It was just literally like, the discard was ridiculous. It was one day, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, can't nobody get between us. It's just you and me against the world. And then, just like a light switch flipped, I was never gonna marry you. I don't care. I don't like you. I was never gonna leave from home. Oh, you want to do this, and I'll call the cops on you. Or you want to say this, I'll call the cops on you. Hitting and fighting, and she was a little bitty thing. I'm bigger, of course, as you can see. I'm not about to fight you. I'm not about to hit you. And to be honest with you, police don't take too kindly to black folk getting into altercations with little dainty white people, for lack of a better word. So I'm not, much less am I not going to hit you just because I'm not going to fight you or hit you. I'm not going to hit you because I don't want to go to jail. And I really think that's what her hitting was about, because she wanted to provoke me into hitting her back, which I never did. I would always literally just take my hands and cup them behind my back, so that, hold them together and not let them go, because I'm not falling for your trap. When we broke up, it stunned me. But then I did some inner work, and I realized that I didn't have any boundaries. I wondered. I always thought, everyone always told me, in all the broken relationships that I had, that when you have a lot of people saying the same thing about one person, It's usually that person that is the common denominator. That's the problem. And in essence, I was the problem because I was too nice and I just allowed people to walk all over me. I became such the doormat for people. I allowed people to use me. But at the end of the day, all of it made me stronger. I became a different person. I started thinking about, what did I do to deserve it? And that's when I realized that I was a common denominator, but not in a bad way, in a using way, in a supply way. That's what I was. Everybody's supply. I wasn't the problem, they were. And I had to realize that and understand that. It's hard. It's hard knowing that you put so much effort into people who never really put any effort into you in the first place. The only effort that they put in was to get what they could get out. And once they get what they get out, they literally get out. I did that inner work. I thought that I had did something wrong. And I started wondering, why me? I did everything right this time. I didn't cheat. I didn't flirt. I didn't allow anybody to flirt. I did everything right. I made sure I did. I was supportive, super supportive. I was financially supportive, emotionally supportive. I moved to be closer. I did everything I could do. Everything I could do to keep love going and to be the perfect partner, companion. But it was all for nothing because it was never really real. And I accepted that. I'm okay with that. After a while, I became okay with that because I had to understand that, once again, not everybody has the same heart as I do. And not everything is going to go the way that my heart wants it to go. It was a lesson for me. It was a lesson that I needed to learn, that people are not always as they seem. And God was also showing me a lesson of having boundaries and being aware of who I allow in my life, and the fact that I had no boundaries and I kept going in those same circles over and over again, repeating the same cycles over and over and over again. He had to bring an end to it. And this was my tower. This was my moment to bring an end to it. So when it fell down, it collapsed. I mean, that relationship collapsed. I literally went into my bathroom mirror and I said, Lord, show me, God, show me what this is, who this is, and if it's benefit for me, if it's a benefit for me, if this is who I'm supposed to be with. And if it's not, then I'm ready. Take it away. And I tell you, not even 2 days later, everything fell apart in the worst way. She attempted to lie to me, and I rode up to her house because it just didn't make sense. And I found a truck from someone that we knew parked in the yard. She had a visitor that wasn't me. So We had a few words about that outside. And the looks and the conversation that I got, those narcissistic smirks, and where you can see the wheels turning in their head and the little laughs and giggles. It's just like everything you say, and the more pain that you feel and the more things that you're trying to get them to understand, they don't hear that. It's just supply. They're just feeding off of you. They enjoy it. They enjoy it. They enjoy taking your light, something they can never get for themselves. They enjoy abusing your light because they envy your light. How is that? How is it that they can love your light enough to want to take it from you, but also envy that same light that you have? Because you have it. We got to start being more vigilant about these people, because now they're everywhere. And like I said, not everybody's a narcissist. We got to stop just putting that on everybody. But there are a lot of people that have narcissistic tendencies. And we got to be vigilant and careful. Because those are some cold people. Trust me, I know. I keep coming back and forth, and I keep saying a little thing about, here and there about NARCs. But I promise y'all, we're going to get more into detail about all of that. I kind of just wanted to share that story with me, and everything is going crazy as far as the lights and stuff in this car. I'm telling you, these smart cars, and I don't mean smart cars like, little bitty cars and good gas consumption, or not gas, the electric cars. I mean, just, they do a lot with these newer cars these days. So I'm having some functional issues with keeping the lights on and keeping stuff going. And it seems that the remote for the car, the battery needs to be replaced. So every time I hit it, it doesn't pop back on like it's supposed to. You guys know what I'm talking about. So it's neither here nor there. But anyway, we're going to continue having conversations about this. But I just want to say in short, be aware who you're around, because there are a lot of people around. And take your time when you find someone. I don't recommend doing a lot of online dating. I recommend actually face-to-face meeting people. Even if you do meet them online, meet them eventually face-to-face. I know there's, there's CV19 around now, all these different variants and everything. But if you choose to do this, because a lot of people are still doing what they normally do anyway, if you are online dating and you choose to do things like this, please be careful. Please be careful. Because there's a lot of things that can happen. And it's not always trafficking, and it's not always, their harassment or some type of physical abuse. Sometimes it can be just people that are just looking to use you, scam you, mental abuse you. They're looking for someone that they can control, someone that they feel is weak. They feel weak, and that they can manipulate. And we got enough stuff going on in this world than to have someone else just run around and try and manipulate us and make us feel like we are less than them, less than anything, less than everything. Look for the red flags. The red flags are gut feelings. And they can be anything. So I'm not going to give you specific red flags. You know what red flags are when you see them, when you feel them. When somebody's telling you one thing, but their actions showing something else. When somebody's saying one thing, but you know something else. You know something's incorrect. Something's not right. Something doesn't add up. Pay attention to all of that. Don't just blow it off, because everything is a sign, and everything is happening for a reason. And sometimes that reason is not for your best intentions. Everything that look good to you ain't always good for you. Ain't no ever saying ever been so accurate like when you're talking about a narcissist. I love y'all. Again, we will continue this conversation. I have only just scraped the surface, but I really don't want to keep playing around with the light and all of that. I already got to edit this and put it together for you guys. So I'm sorry for the chop up, but that's what was happening. I want to be transparent, no matter what the transparency needs to be. But if you happen to have any questions, you can drop them in the comments. I'd love for you guys to start liking, subscribing, commenting, and even sharing if you care. If you care to make a difference, because we need to get this word out. We need to let people know that regular people like you and I, these things are happening every day. And even though they happen, and even though they put us through a lot of stress and a lot of depressed moments, we're going to be okay. I got a lot of stories to tell before it's all over with. I got a lot of knowledge in this big little nugget. So I'm definitely fitting to share it all with you. If you're willing to hang in there with me, we're going to get through it. We're going to get through it together. I promise you it's better on the other side. But you got to believe you can get there. It's not hard. It's work. But it's not hard if you really want to get there. I love you guys. Have a good night. I will see you tomorrow as usual. There's a video, at least one every day. I am nothing if not consistent. Y'all be good to each other. And you take care. And beware of those NARCs, man. It's real. And they are multiplying like rabbits and roaches. Protect yourself.